You know that the French, the English, and many other foreign engineers they've been planning to try to make that railroad for years from
Really?
Bangkok to Rangoon, and they all said, "Forget it; it's impossible to do." And the Japanese said, "Hold my beer." A lot of liberties. And Pierre Boulez was a French writer, couldn't speak English, but he was a prisoner in Thailand during the war. Walked on the bridge. I got in a boat and I went up and down under the bridge. I have lots of video and pictures from somewhere of all
Like you're
that.
gonna give up, and then they come get you,
Yeah,
and you come monitor you, and that's why you survive, right? And so,
yeah. Well, hello there, internet people and movie lovers from all over the world. Welcome back to a very special edition of the Big Bad Glass Movie Rant. I am Fanboy here in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and I like to talk about movies. Today I've invited Amateur Boy from Tokyo to Japan to talk about the clash of cultures in the classic 1957 movie The Bridge on the River Kwai. Directed by the great David Lean, I think this was his first big international epic that won many awards and really set him on his path that led to Lawrence of Arabia, Dr. Zhivago, etc. So today I think you're going to enjoy listening to what we have to say. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our discussion of The Bridge on the River Kwai. I'm Fanboy from Chiang Mai, Thailand, and this is the Big Bad Glass Movie Rant, and this is uh, Amateur Boy from Tokyo, Japan, and he's joining me today so we can talk about The Bridge over the River Kwai, one of my all-time favorite movies that I've been watching since early in my childhood. Came out in 1957. I think I probably saw it in 62, probably. The first time I saw it was here in Thailand when I first watched it. I have since, over the years, visited the locations where all this took place. I've taken the train from Bangkok up to Kanchanaburi, where a lot of the men who were actually worked on the line are buried. So it's actually this movie actually has. I mean, the story. Let's put it this way: the story has three versions. There's the novel version, which was written in 1954 by Pierre Boulez. I read that in high school because I was always a fan of the movie. Then there's the movie version of the story, and then there's the real version, the reality of the story. So I'm a bit familiar with all three versions, but I brought Amateur Boy on here because I wanted to get he's been living in Japan. How many years now? You've been in Japan?
off and on since 2006.
So over 10 years.
Yeah,
So
but I haven't left Japan for 5 years.
yeah, so you're fairly familiar with Japanese culture, and I just wanted to get his reaction of the because there's a lot of debate. And what I found out, which is really interesting, is the British actually had the most had the most protest against the movie because they felt it made them look anti-British and everything. The way that Colonel Nicholas has reacted to building the bridge, which was completely false, and it pissed them all off. Even Alec Guinness said he was almost going to walk off the movie because he didn't
Really?
like the way the character was developed. So somehow they kept him there, and he ended up winning the Academy Award. That's for the part, and probably made his career. It said at first he wasn't going to do the movie at all, but then of course the Japanese had issues with it. The only people that I think were happy with it were the Americans, and the character that William Holden plays was actually a British character in the book, but they switched it to it, made him an American character for some reason. And the thing about William Holden, he actually made his career off of this too because he took 10%. He was smart. He took 10% of the box office to play the part.
That's
And this
perfect, right?
and this movie's been making money forever. And he's just and I guess I don't know who gets his money now, but for the rest of his career, he just collected 10% of the box office draw from Bridge of the River Kwai, which is an amazing thing. I don't think many actors did that up to that time. That was kind of a new thing. So he was a smart guy.
Is Columbian Pictures still around?
Yeah, they did. They just produced the Spider-Verse. They're the distributors of the Spider-Verse. It's Columbia Pictures.
They're the ones making the money.
Yeah. Well, but they think they took over that 10% from William Holden? Went back to them?
Distributed by.
I think his family would. I don't even know if he has a family. I don't know if he ever married or anything. But anyway, Holden's a whole different. It basically is his. He had a wide a career span just of movies made in Asia after he did Bridge of the River Kwai. He spent a lot of time in Asia. Spent a lot of time making movies here and doing different things. And also he spent a lot of time in Africa trying to help the animals and things like that. So he was one of these early eco guys. Right. But let's just go back to Bridge of the River Kwai now. And they had really three cultures. There were four cultures, actually: the British, the American, the Thai, and the Japanese. Correct. Four cultural things. I haven't really read much about how the Thais reacted to this movie. I mean, I thought it captured the Thai culture pretty well. And I really thought some of the shots at the end where the women were watching the men die, and they would cut to the Thai women's face, was very poignant, and tragic. And it really, the way Thai women react to, I don't want to say that, but it's the way they react to foreign men. They really captured it, right? Very well. And then you get the tough old Thai guy, and there's like the ladies here, and then they get the really tough old Thai guys who are like the jungle guys that know everything about Thailand and know, how to survive because basically Thailand is, a lot of these cities are just like little islands inside of a jungle, literally just like that prison camp. If you left Chiang Mai and go out into the jungle, which is like 2 miles away from my house here, maybe 3 miles, and you walk out into that jungle, your odds of survival get very, very limited. You probably will not live, if given maybe you'll make it a week, so you're literally in a sea, these cities are like little islands in the middle of an ocean, right?
Right. Yeah, it's like
a jungle ocean. So the prison camp was very similar in that regards, and they make a point of saying that right at the beginning. That there's no walls here. If you run away, you're gonna die. So anyways, so let's just cut right to the chase with Japanese culture. What did you think of the and I'll tell you what I've read and what I believe, but I just want to get a gut reaction from you.
Right. I think for the movie it's really good, but Japanese were more they're more hardcore than I think they portrayed in the movie, right? I think they downplayed it a little bit. If you know the history.
Yeah, but I just read, and because I have an actual book here, because when I went down to Kanchanaburi, I actually went down to Bangkok, got on the train at the actual Death Railway. You can't see it because everything's backwards here. There's a little book here, the Death Railway, and I rode up to Kanchanaburi where the cemetery is, where the bridge is, the actual bridge. This is a metal. They built two. They built a wooden one and a metal one. This is in real life. Toomsey was the colonel. He didn't die. They never blew up the bridge. They were always trying to sabotage the bridge. They said they put termites on the wooden bridge, to eat it away. They're always trying to, fuck with the Japanese. And eventually the Allied bombers came in and blew it up 2 times by airplane. And of course, that was the plot point in the movie was that they couldn't do that, right? So they had to send in that force. So, they took a lot of liberties. And Pierre Boulez was a French writer, couldn't speak English, but he was a prisoner in Thailand during the war. Like a lot of people who had been living in Thailand, they were immediately made prisoners by the Japanese, right? So he did have that experience behind him, so he knew a little bit about the railway. But he's an artist, and he wrote Planet of the Apes also. That was his book also. So a very influential writer, and he just, but what I did read, it says as soon as the railway was built, they took out some of the military guys overseeing the camps, and they put in civilian administrators, and they said that the life got much better all of a sudden.